News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show. Okay, we have anti-Semitism at Hillcrest High School, where a gaggle of people that are displaying anti-Semitic, horrifying behavior, yelling and taunting a Jewish student for 3 years now. Dirty Jew, go bathe in Auschwitz where you belong. One graffiti incident in a bathroom stall alongside the words "Burn the Jews." Swastika drawings. Teachers just erasing it and then moving on, not doing anything. They go to this school with complaints. Nothing gets done. And so a group called Stand With Us, a national anti-Semitic group, a national group that fights anti-Semitism, has filed a civil rights complaint on behalf of this family in Hillcrest High School in Dallas ISD. It's the first against a public school district in the nation. Then we had a father who called in, who's a middle school student at Louisville ISD, is being taught anti-Semitic, hating Israel and showing the Israelis stealing the land of Palestinian people, even though there's no such thing as Palestine. There's no state as such as Palestine. Teaching hateful anti-Semitic things in class, and parents are going at it there with the faculty, who apparently is not handling it well at all so far at all. The principal refusing to be able to answer whether Palestine's a state or not. It's bizarre, and it's wrong, and it's very dangerous. And that's why you're seeing a lot of this anti-Semitism after October 7th, with a massive slaughter, murder, butcher, rape, and beheading, and genital mutilation, and sexual torture, and gang rapes, and then kidnapping, where they're sexually torturing and raping continuously of these Jewish women, according to the United Nations now even. And we have this being taught in our schools. And then we had a guy that called in. And the guy that called in was angry. He wasn't angry that people are chanting "Death to America" in Michigan today and "Death to Israel." And he wasn't mad that students are going around bullying for 3 years at Hillcrest High, yelling "Dirty Jew, go bathe in Auschwitz" and stuff. By the way, one of the bullies in that gaggle is a Jewish person, is a Jew. But you know what they probably are then? One of these Jew-hating Jews who is, maybe they're super liberal. Maybe their parents have taught them to hate Israel and hate the Jewish nation and Jewish people. I don't know. But that's terribly disturbing. But nonetheless, just because somebody turns on themselves and starts attacking other Jews doesn't mean anything other than it's just as bad. So let me play this caller who got mad at me, not at the people I just mentioned, which is breathtaking. Here we go. What do you think about those things? Burn the Jews next to a swastika, graffiti, and swastika drawings, and go bathe in Auschwitz where you belong, and Dirty Jew. And then also writing a swastika on a piece of paper, and then a teacher sees it, and then the teacher just erases it and says nothing else. What do you think about that?
That's their right. Was it the teacher's right to erase it and not report it to the parents? No, it wasn't. But that was
that's happening.
Right.
That's happening.
Okay, but that's not on the kid who's saying it. That's on the teacher who's not reporting it.
Okay, so as a Jew and a LGBTQ person, you're okay. Like if you're sitting in school and people are saying we should burn you alive and go bathe in Auschwitz, you're a dirty Jew.
I've been threatened to be the life beaten out of me for being LGBT and being Jew and everything like that. But again, that's no different.
But hold on, you actually think it's okay.
The N-word.
But you think that's okay? Like just let it go and deal with it. No. Hold on, sir. No punishment.
No, I'm not saying like drastic punishments, but again,
I'm just asking you, no punishment?
No, I'm not saying no punishment.
Okay, no punishment.
No, I'm not saying no punishment.
Okay, what are you saying? We got to go. What are you saying, though?
Repercussions?
What are you saying, brother?
Sorry, there should be some type of repercussions, but I feel like y'all are taking this to a whole different level. It's no different than another student calling another student the N-word.
How am I taking it to another,
can you explain to me?
Hold on, real fast. How am I taking it to another level when people are yelling "Death to America" on the streets?
Okay, I'm not for "Death America" to the streets. But
you've said that already, but how am I taking it to a new level? What am I saying that is taking it to a new level?
Because you're making it be like, oh, calling dirty Jews is no different than me saying the N-word to a black person.
Okay, yes, I don't think so. So what do you I don't know what you're saying. You're angry at me, but I don't know why. What have I done? What's wrong?
Because y'all are so, like, I don't know. I think I'm just like so upset at the fact that like we.
You upset with the people saying dirty Jew and death to America, or me?
No, I'm not. I'm upset with you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your call. Calm down a little bit. I look forward to more calls. Keep calling in. That was amazing. That was a good ending, and I thank you for your call. You've gotten an extraordinary amount of call time, more than others, but you were very well worth it. I mean, that was amazing. Thank you very much. You're not mad at the people saying death to America. You're not mad at the people calling Jewish children in high school dirty Jews and death to Jews and burn them alive. You're mad at me. I got you, sir. Woo. He was on for several minutes before that, too, but he was mad at me, and that's amazing, isn't it? That's a real problem. That's a real problem, what's going on in this country. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Are you surprised that anti-Semitism like this is going on in Louisville ISD Middle School, going on in Dallas ISD at Hillcrest High, and undeniably at other ISDs in the suburbs of Collin, Denton, Tarrant, and Dallas counties, and the others, Ellis, I'm sure, probably Ellis not so much, but it's probably going on at all of them in some way, shape, or form. So are you surprised it's going on at our schools in North Texas? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I'll continue on with this. The story talks about the campus climate in Hillcrest High. October 7th, after the attack, when Jews were slaughtered, raped, everything we've talked about, the Hillcrest student said he, quote, heard that Jews are, quote, just getting what they deserve. Quote, Jews are just getting what they deserve. Free Palestine, exclamation mark. They were saying that in his high school. Getting raped and burned alive and gang raped, and then after they gang rape them, generally mutilating them, cutting off their breast while they're alive and being gang raped, cutting it off and playing with it and throwing it on the ground in front of them is giving these Jews what they deserve, and free Palestine. That's at Hillcrest High. And for 3 years he complained, his parents complained, nothing was ever done, no action taken that they can tell. One or more of the bullies often is another Jewish student, they say, to Dallas Morning News. The fact that a Jewish student is displaying biased and prejudicial behavior is a strong indicator of the urgent need for Hillcrest High to provide education, increase awareness, make efforts to combat anti-Semitism in all its form. I agree. I'll tell you what, this group that they're with is called Stand With Us. I would love to stand with this family, and I would love to have a peaceful protest at Hillcrest High until the anti-Semitism is flushed out, rejected, and dealt with appropriately. Wouldn't you? I'd go. I love standing with my friends in Israel, and I love standing with my friends in America that are Jewish. And when you insult or attack one of them, you insult or attack me. We will not tolerate this, and we're going to come for you if you do this, and we're going to smoke you out. We're going to smoke you out, and then people can know who you are, and if you want to stand on that, great. Good luck getting a job. Good luck getting a job. I wouldn't hire a Jew hater, would you? I've got more on this, a little bit more on this. Actually, let me finish it off now, because then coming up next, we got some other... we have a great thing to talk about. I'll tell you about in a sec. But the students that experiences were met with inadequate response from school officials, according to the filing, the civil rights complaint with the federal Justice Department. For example, the Office of Civil Rights, I guess it is. For example, the complaint alleges when the student showed his teacher that a classmate drew a swastika on his paper, the educator's only response was to try to erase it. The family asked the school leaders to host educational programming for the students and staff on anti-Semitism. Why don't they have a rabbi come in and share some information? Why don't they have the Israeli embassy? Do they have an Israeli embassy here? Or I'm sure they do, or somebody. Why don't they have my friend, my very dear friend who spent an hour with us on the show, who is a professor at UTD, who is a scholar. I mean, he is one of the foremost, utmost scholars of Holocaust history and Jewish history. He's a wonderful, beautiful man who happens to be a fan of the show. And when I called him and asked him to come on, he literally was. I said I listened to you every night. I'm like, oh my gosh! And this is a Very, very brilliant, sweet. I don't know if he's Jewish, but he's a world-renowned scholar. And my friends through the Jewish community or Jewish relations groups here in DFW pointed me to him. And boy, was he incredible. He's a sweet man. I love that guy very much. Anyway, it's good to know that people are sharing and getting the truth out at UTD in an amazing way, impactful way. So the complaint alleges also that the family asked for the educational programming. The Hillcrest staff failed to provide any such training. Unsurprisingly, the student reported losing all faith in the faculty and the administration's interest in keeping him safe or taking his concerns seriously. Amen. I agree. I'm with you. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number. Up next, Trump was right. Joe Biden is seriously considering doing executive orders to limit the southern border crossings by the end of the month using the same laws and the same things that Trump did. Unbelievable. Turns out this was his policy for 3.5 years, and now he's going to do something. Is it too little, too late? Next. In a Trump-like lockdown, Joe Biden is to issue border executive order. This was on Axios. And the interview was, I believe, on Univision. Yes, it was. And he sent, according to the liberal leftist Axios, who I do like the way they write, their style. It's bullet points and very simple, which is how it should be. Don't make this complicated. The New York Times likes to write 20-page tomes for a dang news story. It's annoying. They sent out a massive signal. He did, that he plans to issue an executive order to dramatically limit the number of illegals claiming asylum who can cross the southern border. It's likely by the end of April, although it's not final. There's a fierce debate internally in the Biden administration right now about the legality and politics of a Trump-like lockdown. It would restrict the ability of illegal immigrants to claim asylum, doesn't require congressional approval. Gee, like Trump did? Biden would use Section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act, which gives a broad leeway to block entry of certain illegal immigrants if it would be detrimental, quote unquote, to the U.S. national interest. Quote, he would be taking a page from President Trump, who has repeatedly leaned on that section. Do you remember I've played you the audio of Alejandro Mayorkas millions of times? I've played over the past month or two of hitting not millions, but tons and tons of times of Mayorkas saying, we, in his pedo voice, we have overturned so many Trump executive orders. We've canceled them all. We've lost track. There's too many to mention. In his pedo voice, said DHS Secretary Mayorkas, who's impeached and could go to trial soon. Joe Biden said on this interview on Univision, we are examining whether or not I have that power. Some are suggesting I just go ahead and try it, and if I get shut down by the court, I can get shut down by the court. So he's literally saying, they'll shut me down in the court, but I'll try it. You mean like you do with giving away student loans without money, giving free student loans out to people who are bums? You mean that? He's not afraid of the Supreme Court of getting turned down. He taunts it, mocks it, and attacks it, and said they struck me down in the last one. Well, good luck. I'm doing it again right now. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and try. He taunts the Supreme Court. He mocks it and keeps going even after they overturn him. And on this, he's saying, well, it could happen, so that's why I haven't done it. Liar. So you know what? And by the way, do you know all those jobs numbers we got last month? And we're going to talk about how bad the economy. It's bad. The economy. Did you see the inflation numbers coming out today? They're really, 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 really bad. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit on the show, actually, too, and why. But out of those jobs numbers that looked good last month, 100,000 of those jobs in those new job numbers last month went to illegals because Joe Biden has given, according to Senator Marsha Blackburn, Joe Biden has given 2 million illegals since just 2022 humanitarian parole. And when you give humanitarian parole, you can work. Wait till you hear the places they're working at. You are going to be very concerned. But first, my question. Do you think that Biden doing these Trump executive orders like Trump did, do you think this will help Biden's horrible polling on illegal immigration, where he's polling 70% disapproval? 7 in 10 Americans disapprove on how he's handling the border. Do you think this is going to help Biden's horrible polling in illegal immigration? Do you think Biden is simply going to go, do you think Biden's simply going to do some of the same things Trump did? Do you think most Americans will realize this and also realize Biden chose to have this 3.5-year unprecedented invasion? This is his plan. His plan was to have an unprecedented 9 to 12 million invasion with up to 2 million gotaways who are terrorist MS-13 members, including one who just got caught yesterday. I've got audio of it. I'll play that for you in a little bit. Do you think this was just Joe Biden's plan all along? Have 12 million invade for 3.5 years and then do what Trump did and then say, look, I fixed it. I do. His plan was to do this and then have this as a cudgel. As I told you for 2 years, I've been saying this. He's doing this intentionally to use it as a cudgel to try to get amnesty. And what did he do? He got the senator from Oklahoma to say yes. And then he goes, Republicans stopped what Republicans were going to do. We had a bipartisan agreement. Yeah. All right. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Do you think doing all these new Trump executive orders for Biden to stop the illegal flow, will this help Biden's horrible polling numbers and illegal immigration? Do you think Biden's simply going to do some of the same things Trump did? And do you think most Americans will realize this and also realize Biden chose to have this 2.5-year unprecedented invasion? Sorry, 3.5-year unprecedented invasion. And do you think it's too late to help Joe Biden's horrific polling numbers, not just on the illegal immigration front, but overall? I sure do. It's over. I do believe. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Wait till you hear where these illegals are working that Joe Biden has given amnesty to for 2 million of them in just 2 years. Wait till you hear where they're at. It's bad. Hey, by the way, in just a minute, why America is not as divided as we think, according to this article, as promised at 9:30. But first, so Biden's now saying he's looking at doing the exact same thing Trump did for a long time. And the same thing that he could have just left in place the moment he took office, but he chose to kill it. And now that the election is coming up in, let's see, it's a lot sooner than we realize, right? Let's see, we're in April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Okay, guys, we have an election in 6.5 months. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? Producer Garrett, can you hear me, bro? I don't know. Oh, dear. 6.5 months. Can you believe we have an election in 6.5 months? That's insane. I mean, it just came upon us. Fell out of the sky. So now he's saying, I might do what Trump did, but he won't say that it's Trump, etc. So it's Trump-like, the outlet Axios reported today. Also, we see that Joe Biden's illegals, he has given, listen to this, he has granted humanitarian parole to 2 million illegals since 2022, according to Senator Marsha Blackburn. She got the details because she's a senator. Brandon Judd, Border Patrol chief of their union, says at Eagle Pass, just by putting up barriers, they've gone from several thousand a week to 12 people a day because walls work. Biden is suing Texas, whereas this is from Breitbart today. Biden is suing Texas, whereas former President Trump would be sending the state reinforcements to better secure the border in Texas. Obama and Trump, now here's what listen, since you understand that Joe Biden paroled 2 million since 2022, you ready? In 2022, Joe Biden paroled 800,000 illegals. In 2023, he paroled 1.2 million illegals. That's 2 million illegals in 2 years. Ready? Guess what? Do you know what that means, humanitarian parole? While they're waiting for their asylum hearing? That means they can work. That means they can get benefits and collect welfare checks or whatever they are. SNAP benefits, food cards, food stamps. They get a work visa. And that's why Blackburn says you have these illegal aliens now delivering for Uber and DoorDash and people of that nature. It's unsafe for people, she says, noting these individuals are using fake names. It's dangerous for companies to hire them. I actually have a letter in process that other senators are signing to send questions to these delivery companies about using illegal aliens, many of them criminal illegal aliens, using them for employment in the U.S. and thereby endangering the public, Senator Blackburn said. Now listen closely to me. So Joe Biden paroled 800,000 illegals in 1 year and 1.2 million in another year, okay? That's 2 million in 2 years. Ready? Take a guess how many people President Trump paroled per year. Instead of 2 million or 1.2 million, basically it's 2 million in 2 years, so we'll just say, because it's 800,000 1 year, 1.2 the next, so let's just say $1 million a year, right? Instead of $1 million in a year, guess how many Trump paroled? Okay, you say negative million. No. I mean, what? 5,600 a year. So 5,600, let's round up to 6,000 versus $1 million. Do you understand this now? This is a choice to invade this country. I want to swear. This is a chance to invade this is a choice to invade this bleeping country. I want to scream realizing this. You have no idea how hard it is to not cuss and scream at this. I mean, I highlighted it earlier on my Soda weight loss workout on my sponsors, but and then even Obama, Hussein Obama, former president, Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Hussein Obama. Guess how many he paroled per year? 5,600. Just like literally, it's the same as Trump. 5,600. So we'll round up to 6,000. So 6,000, and then Biden instead paroled 800,000 1 year and 1.2 million the other year. So rounded off to 1 million a year for 2 years. So what do you think? Which would you prefer? 6,000 parolees, which could be understandable, possibly. You know what I mean? Out of all the people, 6,000 might actually be worthy of it for some reason, but not 1 million. So here's my question for you on that. I have a couple questions, but do you want illegals that Joe Biden has allowed to work? Do you want illegals who have no real name, using fake names? It could be criminals. Do you want illegals delivering to your house? Do you want illegals bringing your food to you via Uber? Do you want your daughter to get a ride from an Uber driver from an illegal that has humanitarian parole? That could be a rapist. Do you want an Uber driver picking up your son who's 12 or 18, take him to the airport? Do you want your wife to go in an Uber car ride with an illegal that Joe Biden gave humanitarian parole who's using a fake name and might have a criminal record? How about installing cable at your house? Do you want one of Joe Biden's illegals who's allowed to work installing cable inside of your home for an hour or two, running a cable line and seeing what's going on in your house so they can do what they want, especially if they're MS-13 or particularly Tren de Aragua? Second of all, do you want one of these illegals being a contractor at your house, working maybe for months, right? Remember when I told you I had my house was formerly called Our Lady of Perpetual, my former house, my current house was formerly called Our Lady of Perpetual Construction, blessed be her name, if it was a Catholic church, because it was a year and a half long, massive addition. Massive. That's why it took a year and a half, but it was well worth it. It's incredible. But can you imagine one of those contractors at your house for a year and a half on and off? They'd know, maybe they see your daughter and they go, that 17-year-old's hot. I'm going to sex traffic her, I'm going to sexually assault her or kidnap her. (800-288-WBAP) is our number, 800-288-9227. So do you want these illegals that Joe Biden, 2 million of them, to be delivering food to your house or installing cable or working as a contractor inside of your house or driving you on Uber or delivering your food in DoorDash? Do you trust them? I don't. Nor does Senator Marsha Blackburn. And also, do you think Joe Biden all of a sudden saying that he's going to try to do some Trump executive orders to stop the illegal invasion for now, because we're 6 months out from the election? Do you think this is going to help Biden's horrible polling numbers on the illegal immigration? Do you think Biden is actually simply going to do some of the same things Trump did, which is unbelievable? And do you think maybe this is just all his plan, his whole plan all along, to just have 12 million people invade us for 3.5 years and then stop the spigot and say, look, I fixed the problems. It's Republicans' fault that this happened, but I fixed it. All the while, it was simply him removing Trump's executive orders as a choice to have a massive invasion that's never before been seen in this country's history ever, a destruction of this country, a full-throated choice to destroy this country, knowing that he'd stop it again with the same executive orders he canceled and crowed about, and then say, look at me, I'm awesome, I stopped it, but the Republicans are to blame. I do think this was his plan all along. And I want to give a hat tip to, I can't remember her name now. She's on before Jesse Waters. Not Martha McCallum. Laura Ingraham. The screen grab on it during my workout, my Soda Weight Loss workout, one of my sponsors. It said that. It said this was the plan all along. And that's exactly what it was. All right, so I want to get into next, as promised at 9:30. I'm a few minutes late, but nonetheless, better late than never. Why America is not as divided as we think, according to data. Is it possible that most Christians aren't white Christian nationals who see Trump as a godlike figure? Is it possible that most college professors aren't trying to silence conservatives? Is it possible most kids don't hate Israel? Oh my gosh. Could it be true? And I'm being serious too. This is going to be interesting to explore with you in all seriousness. That's next on the Chris Crock Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Okay, why America is not as divided as we think, according to data, says Axios. This is a new poll by AP and the Associated Press and NORC, Center for Public Affairs. 90% or more of Americans, Republicans and Democrats, agree on several things, which I'll tell you in a second. But what's supposedly they're saying is the big picture is, quote, no, most Christians aren't white Christian nationals who see Donald Trump as a godlike figure. Most are ignoring politics and wrestling with their faith. Okay, no, we're not wrestling with our faith, as one of the people you talk about. I am a nationalist as far as saying this is the best country in the world, and I love my country, and nothing will ever be better, and God blessed us, and it's God's sovereign and divine decision to bless us as a Christian nation, to make this the best country in the world. This never should have happened, this country, and it was so unlikely to actually take place, but it did. But Trump is not a godlike figure, and I would say 99% of the people you say that are like that are not, 99.9%. So it's a false religion, false cult that folks have made up from the left. No, most college professors aren't trying to silence conservatives or turn kids into liberal activists. I would say 80 to 90%. I would say 60 to 80% are. They say most are just teaching math, physics, or biology. No. I think we're seeing DEI taught in math now. So, I don't believe that at all. No, most kids don't hate Israel and run around chanting from the river to the sea. Actually, there's a lot more young folks that are anti-Israel. So I don't buy that. No, most Republicans don't want to ban all abortions starting at conception. No, most Democrats don't want to allow till birth. Okay, I believe that. No immigrants who are here illegally aren't rushing to vote or commit crimes. Okay, first of all, they're not immigrants. They're illegal immigrants. Actually, data show rarely both happen, blah, blah, blah. Okay. No, most people aren't fighting on Twitter. Turns out the vast majority of Americans never tweet at all. I guess. All I know is I love it. My daughter's like, I've never even been on it. I'm like, I don't care. So it's my choice and to do it. It's my chosen one. Naturally, I gravitated toward it once I started getting good at it. And now I'm like unbelievable at it. I'm so good. Let me pat myself in the back. Okay. No, most people aren't cheering insults on Fox. Aren't cheering insults on Fox News and fake MSNBC in the evening. Turns out less than 2% of Americans are even watching. Well, it turns out Fox News has millions and millions of viewers, and CNN fake news has 538,000 average. And MSNBC actually is at a second, but not at a close second usually. So what do you think? Do you think it's actually possible that we are not nearly as divided as we think? Do you think this is possible? And they say the reason why it seems that and why so many people think that is because of Twitter and Facebook. And that the people with the largest followings on Twitter and Facebook are the ones that are the most apoplectic, quote, provocative or pugilistic. I don't know what that word means, to be honest. Pugilistic. Do you know what that means? Okay, you're really smart, Garrett, so you don't either. We don't have to look it up. I don't care. If you want to look, go ahead and look it up. I don't care. Whatever. They're just saying that the reason why we all think supposedly it's so divided is because of... Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, inclined or eager to fight aggressively. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Anyway, so I think that that does make a good point that Twitter and Facebook, the most followed people tend to be the most pugilistic, to use a word that's fancy word. So what do you think? Do you think it's possible that is true, that most Americans do not aren't as divided as we think? Most Americans are not as divided. Americans, I should say, is not divided as we think. Do you actually think that's true? 800-288-WBAP is the number, 800-288-9227. Now, the big one is inflation, too, that I want to get to. And there is some bad news for Joe Biden today. And it's not just people like me saying it or people that vote the way I do saying it. It's actually economists on both sides and major CEOs and such who don't do partisan politics publicly, like CEO Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase, or JP Chase Morgan, whatever, not JP Morgan Chase. I'm going to get into that coming up next. The biggest thing in the world that we found out today is that inflation went up for the third month in a row. I'm going to say that again. Inflation has gone up the third month in a row right now, and this one was a big one. They literally were expecting the number today that came out for this previous month to be in the twos for the inflation rate, and instead it was 3.5%. So they were saying the prediction from everybody was 2 to 3% would be the inflation for this month in the twos, and instead it's 3.5%. But you have to understand, this is the third month of increase in inflation. That is a strong and that is a very bad signal. Not according to Chris Kroc, but according to everybody that's an honest economist in all these publications, which I'll get to coming up next. This is really bad for Biden, and I think it's baked into the cake now for the election. I think this spells a doom for him this fall, and I pray it does. That is next on the Chris Kroc Show on WBAP.